thank you, by the way, for being here and listening. But lastly, I guess, and by the way, as you probably know, there's so much to talk about with this, so I appreciate your willingness just to get a few little nuggets here. But just two other topic areas that are important for us to remember, and we've talked about them before, but so just a reminder that how important vagal tone is. Vagal tone is the strength of the vagal brake to, and that's B-R-A-K-E, people are asking about that, to help us regulate our emotions, basically. If we have an insecure attachment, and I'm just using insecure attachment to describe all of the kinds of, attachment problems, basically, it's either secure attached or insecure attached, and it's more complex than that, but for now I'm just saying insecure attachment. Those folks, us folks, tend to have a weaker vagal tone, which means when stress comes up, it's harder for us to put on the brake, that vagal brake, and move back to that parasympathetic nervous system, move back to connections with others and getting the support we need to move our brain back to homeostasis, that dial coming up again. Our vagal tone is weakened. So the other thing we're doing in just about all of our EBT work, actually, it's almost like, because we do a lot of connecting. You notice that we do a lot of connecting emotionally with each other, and all of that helps strengthen that vagal tone, helps us have more command over our vagal brake. And our vagal brake is it's really interesting when you study the vagus nerve, because it's right connected to our facial expressions. And so, just the simple thing, for instance, when we're doing our check-in and we're doing our body above the line, or excuse me, body at one, body in joy. That was obviously an old thing that came up, but, and we're, I always think about, okay, relaxing my facial muscles, relaxing my tongue, my jaw. I sometimes feel the sun on my face, maybe that smile in your eyes, that kindness in your eyes. See, all of these are activating our vagal brake. And when we hold someone with our attunement, with our eye contact, sitting a little bit forward so we show we're there and caring, when we're in that higher brain state, we're helping basically strengthening their vagal tone, just by their observing, using those mirror neurons, our vagal tone. So just remembering how the vagal brake works in all this and how important it is. That's also called the social engagement system. Isn't that interesting? That it's really about the ability to connect. Because again, being social mammals, we're designed to, when we go into those lowest 5 states, we're designed to, if it's available, use support, social support, to bring us back to homeostasis. So for those of us that have disruptions in attachment, oftentimes those are some of our core circuits. I get my safety from hiding. I get my safety from distancing. I get my safety from pushing you away, like that participant was telling you. So how difficult for those folks to get those most basic primitive needs met in that social engagement system and that vagal brake operating. So I just wanted to remind us of that. And also I wanted to mention that one thing I love about EBT is we're doing a great job in this program. Thanks, Laurel. To do neural integration, help with neural integration. So we do a lot of right hemisphere work, everything of being in our body, doing our check-ins. How do you feel? Even asking ourselves, how do you feel? That requires interoception. That requires a strengthening of our insula, our ACNC, our anterior cingulate cortex, being able to communicate with our insulin and get a sense of how we're feeling in this moment. Very powerful skill in and of itself for creating internal attunement. But we were also using our left hemisphere. We use it in our kit work when we're telling the story or we're going into just the facts. We use it now at the end of our cycle tool. Really cool little addition that we're doing at the end of our cycle tool. What did you learn from that? That's activating that left hemisphere to start creating that neural integration, the communication between the hemispheres that can say, gosh, this is what I'm learning. This is what I'm learning. And what always the healing comes first through the right hemisphere, because we cannot. I mean, Laurel used to in the past say, when our older model, nurturing comes before limits, and we still say that, nurturing comes before limits, because it's in the context, like we were saying, of compassion and love, that creates the ability to set the limits that we're going to then be able to put us back on track of our development towards our health and happiness. But it's also right hemisphere nurturing to left hemisphere limits, right hemisphere to left hemisphere, because the first thing that needs to get healed is that right hemisphere work. That's why those travel backs are so important. And we can do a negation, which is more of a left hemisphere process, the negation of the circuit, where we go, wait a minute, I cannot get my safety from sugar, or I cannot get that safety I need from pushing others away, or whatever we're working on. There's a way we can get that in a deep body awareness if we've first done that right hemisphere work. Then when we come in with the thought, it's actually powerful. And this is why this work is more powerful, in my opinion, than something like cognitive behavioral therapy, where we don't have enough of those practices to get our right hemisphere in balance, to release some of the stored memory, basically, that is fueling that stress response. I could go on for another weekend, but that's it for now. I just thank you all for being here and for doing this work with me and being in this community, because I can't think of anything more joyful. And wishing you all very many moments of one.